you understand that there's two things that's propelling the club. You got force, which is basically pulling along the club, and then you have your torque. It's the twisting motion that comes from your wrist.
At the start, so the shaft is in the plane that Brian's moving his hands on. Notice that the center of mass of the shaft is going to be, if the face is in the plane, the center of mass of the shaft is behind the plane. The force that he's applying on the grip end of the club is going to try to pull that center of mass into the plane. So you get that tiny little bit of leap.
But what the better golfers were able to do was generate more energy within the body. And then the efficiency is a measure of how much of that energy can be transferred out. So you spend a lot of your energy, more in fact, moving your own body segments than you do moving the club.
As that torque in the shaft says, okay, let's kick the club head forward, what happens is it slows down the hands. This is what my model was showing. So you don't actually get an increase in club head speed relative to the ball. The club head with the flexible shaft is moving faster relative to the hands, but because that kicking forward has slowed down the hands, you're not seeing an increase in club head speeds.
The face angle that we're talking about here, in TrackMan terms, that is, in particular for drivers, is not what you maybe would normally think of as the face angle. Because the face angle on the center of the face is not the face angle where the ball is actually impacting the face. And this is, TrackMan only talks about, what is the orientation of the surface impacting the ball. So this means if you have like a toe hit because of the bulge of the driver, then the face angle will actually be open on the toe, even though that the center might be zero.
And the answer we found is that some guys opt the way they ought to do when you club them, they might as well have their ice balls, they just keep running the same. We had, I don't think it was now, one of our tour players, we gave him a 2 degree work life. I thought we came through 2 degrees work life. It's simple as that. We've had other players that, no matter what we give them, they come through with the toe in the same orientation. So
it's very much related to what creates spin, because when you have the ball moving over the surface here, when it starts to, if there is no friction, that's what makes the ball starts to rotate. And the more friction you have, the lower, relatively speaking, your launch angle will be.
So for adults, what I would say is you've got to feel like your hands and the club stay back as long as you possibly can to allow your body to get out in front. Whereas I think the phenomenon that you were referring to with Kevin here is that if he goes too early here and gets this happening, the junior problem, female problem, is that then they get to here and they don't have sufficient strength to be able to pull not just this segment, but this segment as well, through to a more rotated position by the time you get to impact.
And about 6 years ago, I started building some models of the physics of golf. And when you build a model of something, you can try to model everything possible, or you can try to simplify it down. Now, I had my favorite professor in college, an engineering professor, used to say that with enough parameters, you can model a charging elephant, but you might not learn anything. And Occam's razor says that you should keep everything as simple as possible that explains what you're looking for.